Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Bagakar Ahmad and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to jump into something very, very important, something that has been busting my brain for the last couple of days, looking at Syria, looking at the conditions of this world that we're living in, and looking at the end time prophecies and the religion of Islam. Now, when it comes to end time prophecies, a lot of them have been going on for quite some time. That doesn't mean that the end of time is going to happen tomorrow if one of these prophecies happens today. But the way that the world looks today is very, 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 very shaky. Many of these signs are happening. The minor and the major signs are happening. And it's getting very, very, very pressed. It's getting very pushed. If this is being forced by humanity or if this is happening naturally through just human history, these prophecies are taking place. And the religious history that has been ingrained within the scriptures is coming to tuition today. So it's very important that we go ahead and analyze these things and we understand these things. And we're not just so happy about everything that's happening around us. And we really do analyze why these specific things are happening and if they're prophetic or not prophetic. Now, taking a look at the Middle East and taking a look at Syria, what we're doing right now, this is a prophecy. And this is not the first time that Syria has been taken or conquered, but this is one of the major signs here that the end of times or the day of judgment is coming and the dajjal and the Mahdi will appear. And one of the signs right before the Mahdi appears, right before this dajjal appears, is the takeover of Syria, the takeover of Damascus, Tabik. And these takeovers of these specific cities will go into a war. And this war will be between the Roman Empire and the Muslims. And the Muslims will conquer the Roman Empire and push them out, and then they will basically take over Constantinople, which is modern day Istanbul of Turkey. Okay, so what I'm seeing right now is the United States of America, who is modern day Rome. There's no difference from the United States of America and the Roman Empire. We celebrate the same holidays here. Our roads are built the same. Our homes are built the same. The churches are built the same. Everything from the traditions to the spending to the economy to the architecture to everything about the United States of America is the Roman Empire exactly. Just as the Quran says, the Romans have been defeated in a nearby land, but soon they will be victorious. They will prosper. And this is something that's very important because the Roman Empire was defeated, but America is the superpower of this planet. America is the Roman Empire with their all-seeing eye, their pyramid on their dollar. And this is the sign of the Dajjal, of the Antichrist. The Dajjal has one eye. It illuminates like the morning star on the forehead. And that is exactly what the US dollar's all-seeing eye in a triangle exactly is. Now, to go ahead and make this very, very, very more specific for you guys when it comes down to Syria, I want to go ahead and jump into some hadiths. I want to go ahead and jump into some of the things that Imam Ali alayhi salam has said, some of the things that are in Sahih Muslim for the Sunni audience, and just really compare and contrast some of these end time prophecies here with what is happening today in Syria and what is going on right now in specific. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Now, this right here it's called the Book of Tribulations and Importance of the Last Hour. And this is located in, I believe, Sahih Muslim. Yes, Sahih Muslim 2897. And it reads, "The last hour will not come until the Romans would land at El-Amek or in Dabik, an army consisting of the best soldiers of people on the earth that will come from Medina to counteract them." So the best army that this is referring to or talking about is the army of the Mahdi. And he will come from Medina, and he will arise from Mecca, and he will come from the east, and he will move west to go ahead and fight this battle. When they will arrange themselves in ranks, the Romans will say, "Do not stand between us and those Muslims who took prisoners from amongst us. Let us fight with them." And the Muslims will say, "Nay, by Allah, we will never get aside from you and from our brethren, and for you, you might fight them." And they will fight. And the third part of the army will run away, who Allah will never forgive. A third part of the army, which will be considered excellent martyrs in Allah's eyes, would be killed. And the third, who have never been put to trial, will win, and they will be conquerors of Constantinople. So, what is this prophecy here in Sahih Muslim saying? Saying that the Muslims will migrate over to Syria, and they will fight this army which is the Roman Empire, who is trying to conquer Syria, who is trying to take over and colonize Syria. The Roman Empire is trying to colonize Syria. The Muslims will not allow this to happen. They will fight them. This will be a battle where 1/3 of the Muslim army will walk away and be scared, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forgive them. Another third of the army will die as martyrs and end up in heaven. And the other 1/3 will be alive still, and they will take over Constantinople, which would be modern day Istanbul, Turkey. What is happening right now in Turkey, guys, right? Let me just pause hadith real quick. What is happening right now in, not in Turkey, in Syria, is Syria is being colonized by the Roman Empire in Turkey. This is what I've been saying for the last 3 of my videos. The gentleman who had just taken out Assad, and I'm not saying Assad's good, Assad is a terrible human being, and may Allah deal with him and his family. But when it comes to this new leader, this ex-ISIS, ex-Al-Qaeda member, he literally is ex-ISIS, ex-Al-Qaeda, which are 2 militant groups who are Muslim, who are funded and given weapons and told what to do by the United States of America, by the Roman Empire, who are funded by Turkey, who are funded by Israel, by these Yahudi monsters, actually. So I find it very, very interesting, that right now in Syria, even though we're not using the name Roman Empire, and we're not using the name Constantinople, and we're not using the same exact terminology as we would have used 1,500 years ago for Romans, America is the Roman Empire. They never changed. The Holy Quran prophesies specifically about the fall of the Roman Empire and how they will not fall, how they will continue to be victorious. But the Roman Empire has fallen. But the Romans will be victorious. So Allah is very specific how the Romans will be victorious, but their empire has fallen. So the Romans, who are the United States of America, are right now working with Turkey, who owns Constantinople or Istanbul, right? To go ahead and fund these militant groups, who claim to be Muslim, fund these militant groups to take over and colonize Syria and own Syria and control the government and control these cities, right? And why did ISIS a few years ago go and conquer Dabbek? Because they know it's an end-time prophecy, and they went and conquered it on purpose because they believe that there's going to be some type of war there. So ISIS is already preparing for this end-time prophecy years ago, before any of this is even happening today. And today, we have Turkish people, the Turkish government funding the rebels to fight the Kurds within Syria. We have the American government funding the ISIS rebels, these ex-ISIS, ex-Al-Qaeda members who they were funding to begin with, to take out Assad, to go ahead and take over and colonize Syria. And this is what we're seeing specifically right now. So this is insane to me. Now, has Syria been conquered before? Yes. Has Syria been taken over by the Roman Empire and had Roman control before? Yes. And in those times, could have those been the end-time prophecy indicators? Yes, they could have been. But was there a taking over of Constantinople by the Muslims? Did the Muslims conquer Turkey and Constantinople? Did that happen? Istanbul, I'm sorry. I'm literally mixing Istanbul and Constantinople together. Did they go ahead and take over Constantinople, which is modern day Istanbul? No, this has not happened yet. So this may be what we're going into right now. This may be this exact prophecy, right? And they will be busy in distributing the spoils of war amongst themselves and hanging their swords by the olive tree. And Satan will cry that dajjal has taken your pangs amongst your family. Then they will come out, and it will be no avail, and they will. And then they would come to Syria, and he will come out, and they will still be preparing themselves for battle, drawing up the ranks. Certainly the time of prayer shall come, and that Jesus, peace and blessings be upon him, son of Mary, will descend and will lead them. And the enemy of Allah will see him, and it will disappear, and the salt dissolves in its water, and Jesus will not confront them to all, and then it will dissolve completely, and Allah will kill them by his hand, and he will show them their blood and his lace in the lance of Jesus Christ. So he's explaining that after this happens, Jesus will come out from the sky in the ranks, the dajjal will come, and they will defeat the dajjal, and the dajjal will basically dissolve like salt water, right? Salt in water. Just like salt dissolves in water, the dajjal will dissolve, the evil will dissolve off of this planet. And this is this end-time prophecy specifically right here. But when we go ahead and compare it to what's happening modern day in Syria, it very much matches this. But this is what I want to go ahead and focus on right? I'm just going to show you guys Constantinople. This is Constantinople. Constantinople is the capital of the Roman Empire. So this was the capital of the Roman Empire. This is where all the dirty work went down. This is where they went ahead and made all of the decisions, okay? And this right here is now known as modern day Istanbul, Turkey. And it is not Constantinople no more. It is Istanbul, Turkey. So if this is true, what is happening in Syria right now, then we should see the takeover of Istanbul, Turkey from the Muslims of Syria. And if this indeed does happen, then this prophecy is indeed taking place. And this is something to very, very much look out for, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. One other thing I want to go ahead and touch on. Like I said before, there's other times that the Roman Empire is going ahead and taking Syria. What makes this any different? What makes this colonization any different than any other time in history? This is what makes it different. A lot of these other signs were not happening when the Roman Empire took over Syria 1,000 years ago, right? And these signs are such, right? So someone came to the Imam Ali alayhi salam and asked him, what are the signs before the dajjal comes? And I would like you guys to know that the Imam Ali alayhi salam is one of the most knowledgeable human beings to ever walk the face of this planet. He was the Prophet Muhammad's right-hand man, and basically his brother. He was his cousin, but he was basically his brother. His father, Imam Ali alayhi salam's father, is basically the Prophet's, the one who adopted the Prophet and raised the Prophet. And it's very, very, very important to know these things as Muslimin and understand who are the trustworthy people and who are the people who have really good information when it comes to this. So Imam Ali alayhi salam, he would never speak and give false information. He would never speak and give anything that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, had not advocated or had not said himself. Yes, can hadiths be changed? Yes. Can chains of narrations not be trustworthy? Yes, this is very possible. Here's the chain of narration right here for all of those who want to know. If you guys want, this is chapter 47, regarding Dajjal, the Antichrist, on alislam.org. Now, these other signs that go ahead and take place weren't happening before, but they're happening now. And it says when people will forget their prayers, trust will be betrayed, lying will be considered lawful, usury will become common, bribes will be rampant. So like for instance, the usury, I can't run away from it. If I want a house, if I want a car, if I want a business, if I want to live, if I want a family, if I want a kid in the United States of America, I have no option but to take loans. Interest-based loans, if that's credit card loans, personal loans, home loans, car loans, everything's a dang loan nowadays. I can't even go to the store and buy a cell phone anymore without paying a monthly fee and renting it or leasing it, or a car leasing it. Everything is a loan. Everything has this interest-based system. It's very interesting to see, and it's not just the United States of America, it's the whole world, because the United States of America is the dollar, is the head dollar of the planet, right? Everyone takes the dollar in every country, right? But the dollar is based off of debt. The dollar is $55 trillion in debt. It's a debt-based asset. It's a usury-based asset, but the whole world works off of it. What happens when the US dollar collapses? Everything collapses. The world goes into shambles. And this is why usury is one of the worst things that you could possibly commit. And this is why it will become so common, that so much so it will destroy the world. Bribes will become rampant. People will bribe people to go ahead and get through things. Tall buildings will be constructed. Religion will be sold in exchange for worldly gains. Fools will be in power. I mean, I don't know how much more clear it is that fools are in power, but if we look 100 years ago, yeah, we can call those leaders fools and we call them whatever we want, Hitler and Stalin and all these guys, but they're strong leaders. They were intelligent human beings. To be able to get up on that stage, speak the way they spoke, have the gut, the grit, everything that they have, they weren't fools. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, they were terrible people. They were demons, but they weren't fools. Right now, we have fools in power. Right now, we literally have, it looks like a rap battle going on up on stage between Biden and Donald Trump. The guy can't even formate a sentence. Donald Trump is literally like a paid actor. It is ridiculous. We literally live in a TV show. So fools will be in power. Advice will be sought from women. Relationships will be broken off. Carnal desires will be widely followed. Bloodshed will be considered a minor matter. About the relationships being broken off, what is the divorce rate in USA? Let's see. 2.4 out of 1,000 people. Approximately 41% of first marriages do not succeed. 60% of second marriages end in divorce. That is fantastic. Forbearance will be looked upon as a weakness, and oppression will be considered a matter of pride. So when you forbear things, so I don't want to drink alcohol. That's bad for me. I don't want to strip down nude and show my boobs and show my butt. That's too revealing for me. You will be labeled, right? It'll be labeled as a weakness. You're weak, you're a loser, you're this, you're that. And oppression will be considered a matter of pride. Oppressing yourself, taking substances, weakening your mind, weakening your soul, selling your body as if it's an object, showing your boobs and showing your butt and selling yourself and having all of this stuff, turning your body into a product, right? This will be considered a matter of pride. Right? And that is what's happening today. Kings and rulers will be sinners and transgressors. Ministers shall be liars. The general public shall be dishonest. The reciters of the Quran will be transgressors. False testimony will be acceptable. Sins will be committed openly. Laying false allegations will be a common thing. Sinfulness and rebellion will be rife. The Quran will be looked down upon. Muslim mosques will be decorated. Minarets will be elevated. If I can tell you guys, I was just in Saudi Arabia. I went to Mecca and Medina. Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for inviting me to his home. When I went there and I was in front of the Kaaba and I was looking up and I was looking at the buildings and I was looking at the minarets and I was looking at these pillars, all I could think of is it's the end times. Astaghfirullah wa atubu ilayk. Look at how grand. Why am I looking down at the Kaaba? Why am I praying down at the Kaaba? Why am I 500 feet in the air looking down at the Kaaba? Why are there spotlights on the Kaaba? It's so satanic, these pillars, these pagan buildings and pillars that are built on top looking down at the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What a shame. God Almighty is going to burn down and destroy this civilization and the people who run Mecca and Medina. These people are sick. These are fake Muslimin. And this is exactly what is being told right here. The kings will be sinners and transgressors. Tfa alayk, the king and the runners of Saudi Arabia right now. Tfa alayk. What is it saying? The Quran will be looked down upon, mosques will be decorated and such. And it talks about what? It talks about the Muslim leaders who are also false liars. The reciters of the Quran will be transgressors. False testimony will be acceptable. What do you think these people are doing in Saudi Arabia? They're giving false testimony. They're lying. They're causing deception. They are leading the stage for the dajjal, the Antichrist. Dajjal in Arabic means deception. They are deceiving the world. They're creating a deceptive state of the world so that the dajjal can come. Saudi Arabia and Israel and the United States, they're all working together. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nothing to be confused about. Evil people will be accorded to honor. Exactly what's happening. Your artists, these evil artists, they're drinking blood, they're killing people, they're doing rituals, they're doing whatever. These artists that are promoting Satanism, and all your people on Epstein's Island and these dirty politicians and P. Diddy and everything that they do in their dirty industries. These are the people who are being honored, who are giving awards, who are being put on the Star of Fame and the Wall of Fame. You know, Rose, instead of displaying unity, was full a scenario of strife. Hearts of the people will be distant from each other. Oaths will be promised and readily broken. That's exactly what's happening. We have this internet. We're all interconnected. We all can talk to each other anywhere in the world, but no one's heart is connected to each other. No one cares about each other. No one cares about what's actually happening. All people care about is materialism. What kind of house can I get? What kind of car can I get? Well, I know that person might be dying and starving and hurt, but, you know, I need a new PlayStation. That's how people think nowadays. It's so sad. Oaths promises will be readily broken. I don't remember the last time someone could even keep a promise, to be completely honest with you. And it's because it's so normal nowadays. It's so acceptant, right? And I want you guys to understand, to continue to read this. Please continue to read this. I will put the link in the description. Continue to read this and understand how much of the world we live in today matches this exact description that Imam Ali alayhi salam is giving before the Dajjal comes. And then go ahead and compare and contrast what's happening in Syria to what we just talked about before we came to this page. Please, ladies and gentlemen, the hadith that we read from Sahih Muslim, for the Sunni Muslims, please go ahead and analyze this and dissect that about Syria. Please. Just some other things that I want to go ahead and put here, right? Women will resemble men and men will resemble women. Witnesses will testify with being asked to do so, and people without recognizing the truth. And in that of religion, they will give deep thought and give testimony. World will be given presidents over the hereafter, right? So you have to understand, people are going to take this world over the other world. Women will resemble men and men will resemble women. I mean, like, how much more in your face could this be, right? People, witnesses will testify without being asked to, and other people without recognizing the truth. So people will just testify without actually knowing the truth. People will come out and testify things against religion, against people, against all types of things, and they don't even know the truth. They just want to argue ego, right? And this is exactly what happens today. This is exactly what happens in the internet. This is exactly what happens in society. Like, you have people who will argue doctors about medical things. Like, they'll argue a doctor medically about something because they saw some clips on TikTok. Like, because you watched a couple clips on TikTok, are you really smarter than the doctor who's been studying medicine and studying the human body and anatomy for 12 years straight? Are you really that? And this is the problem. This is one of those signs that people will go on TikTok, basically, or just find some, oh, I'm a doctor because I drank ginger ale and it got rid of my stomach ache. So now, if the doctor tells me not to drink ginger ale or it'll make my stomach worse, I'm going to go against him. This is how people act today. So I just want to go ahead and show you guys and display what is happening here today, right? And how this prophecy of Syria, it has happened before. Syria has been taken over by the Roman Empire before. But now, in this specific scenario, the way it's happening with Turkey, the way it's happening with the United States, the way everything is leading up, the way that Israel is trying to build this third temple and spawn their Messiah, who is our Antichrist, who is our dajjal, the way that everything is just lining up, the way that there's no superpowers left, there's no countries left in the Middle East to even take. The only thing left is Iran, right? It's very interesting to see what is happening here today. It's very interesting to see how Saudi Arabia, these demons that control Mecca and Medina, have progressed over the last 10 years and how they have become so westernized. They've gone from a country that cuts off hands and does public hangings for stealing things from a store to holding concerts of Eminem rapping about how he's God and he's the rap god on stage. It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. There's even a prophecy about how Saudi Arabia will turn green. It'll start growing green. And that is exactly what is happening today. So it's very, 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 very keen, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, Muslimin, non-Muslimin, to pay attention to these things, because God is giving you a chance. God tells you these things. He sends us prophets, peace and blessings be upon them all, to tell us and warn us about these things, so that when we see these signs, we turn back to our Creator. We turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We know it's the truth. So thank you guys so much for coming today. God bless every single one of you. Pay very, very close attention to what is happening in Syria. I know it is very exciting that Assad is gone. I know it is very exciting for the Syrian people that they have they have got this freedom, they've got this liberation for so long. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects the people of Syria, our Muslim brothers and sisters. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protects this Muslim ummah and protects the people who want the truth, protects the people who turn to God, protects the people who truly want to just be guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not an ego game. This is not about Sunni or Shia. This is not about who's right and who's wrong. This is about turning to your Creator. This is about having your Creator guide you. This is about only turning to God Almighty. Because at the end of the day, when you see these signs, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows you these things, when you ask God for something and He gives it to you, when He blesses you, when He shows you first person what you're seeing with what you read, and then this prophecy comes to tuition, when you make your own prophecy where you pray for something, you make dua and you ask God for something and He gives it to you, and you see this prophecy take place, this is what makes you believe. This is what turns you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what God will question every single human being about. Hey, remember when you asked for this and I gave it to you and you realized it? Why'd you turn away from me after? Why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you thank me? Why didn't you continue with that path of guidance? It would have only gotten better. You would have only gotten more. And this is very important, ladies and gentlemen. Please, please do not. I please beg you, do not. I don't care who you're listening to on the internet, if it's me, if it's him, if it's her. I don't care how big their amame is on their head. I don't care how many awards they got. I don't care how much money they get paid. I don't care if they're the top scholar, the top sheikh. The only leader on this planet that has the khilat, that has the audacity to run the Muslim world today is the Imam Mahdi. The Imam Mahdi is the only one, alayhi salam, who can go ahead to this day and lead us back. No other person has the guidance and has the will from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do something like this. So if the Muslim world is in shambles, if the Muslim world is falling apart, if like you're not Sunni and you're right, you're not Shia and you're right, the world is in shambles, deception is everywhere, Islam is perfect, but what the human being has done to it is truly remarkable. They have turned the religion of Islam into something they can sell for a valuable price. Just look at Mecca and Medina. This is your prime example. Try and go to Hajj. Tell me how expensive it is to go to Hajj. It's so sad. They should give Saudi Arabia, from how much money they make, they should give every single Muslim on the planet a free trip, paid expense trip to Hajj for 7 days. You want to be completely honest, and you know how much reward Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give to these human beings? Do you know what these kings do instead? They have sexual intercourse with men, and they poop on gold toilets, and they have 3 billion cars, and they're the richest individuals to ever walk the face of the earth. And this is what they do with their money: garbage. They do garbage with their money. They put their pictures all over Saudi Arabia like they're the ones to be worshipped, not God. So disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. And this is what I'm talking about. Thank you guys so much for coming in today. Inshallah, you guys enjoyed this video. Inshallah, you guys have learned something new. And inshallah, each and every one of you do your own research. Look into sources yourself. Look into the Holy Quran itself. And you guys connect to your Creator. And you allow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide you through these hard times. To guide you through this deceptive life that we live. And until next time, free Palestine, free the Middle East, free this whole entire world from the deception, from the devil, from the deception of the shaitan, these human being shaitan, worse than any shaitan, worse than Iblis, these human beings. And until next time, God bless you all, and Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye bye.